Pretty much all of my content across my various platforms and accounts is just me, the foreigner, sharing my experiences of life in Lithuania. Well, today's video turns the tables and shares my Lithuanian wife's first experience of Canada, and well, I guess North America in general. So if you're interested in what she thought about spending a few weeks in the Metro Vancouver area, keep on watching.
Compared to Lithuania, I found that, generally speaking, strangers were friendlier. Even though we were new faces at my mother-in-law apartment, people in the elevator were still comfortable to engage in conversation or at least make comments about how cute our son is. Walking through the park, it was different to have strangers passing and saying hello. On the bus, passengers would often shout thank you to the bus driver before getting off at the back door.
I do think people are friendlier in Canadian cities, particularly in the public space. I think people are more willing to engage and say hello or just smile, and I think it's a nice unofficial trend or tradition, at least in the Vancouver area, that people say thank you to the bus driver when they get off the bus.
Another different thing is a blinking green traffic light. Where we were staying in Surrey and visiting in Vancouver, the blinking green traffic light has a totally different meaning. In Lithuania, the blinking green traffic light usually means that it will soon change to yellow and the car should stop.
Yeah, so in Canada, or at least in the province of British Columbia, the flashing green light means that traffic is controlled by pedestrians. So when drivers see these flashing lights, they can just keep driving. It's only when pedestrians push a button to walk across the road that the flashing green light changes to yellow and then red. I personally became accustomed to the signaling in Lithuania, so then when I returned to Canada on this trip, I kept thinking those flashing green lights were going to change.
Another reflection I had is just how big the area is. It takes forever to go from one spot to another. We were staying in the city of Surrey, which is a part of Metro Vancouver, but to get to Vancouver took 30 or 40 minutes using the metro. Surrey to Vancouver is about the distance between Vilnius and Vievis in the Elektrėnai district. Because of these big distances, transportation took up so much more of our time, especially when we were in a car and there was a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I've become quite accustomed to European distances myself. The really weird thing for me was the psychology of being on Vancouver's public transport. To be more specific, their SkyTrain/Metro lines. So in Vilnius, if I were to go from our place in the Šnipiškės neighborhood to the Old Town, it could take up to 40 minutes by transit due to walking to the bus stop, waiting for the bus, and then also getting stuck in traffic crossing the river. That itself could take like 20 minutes. Now, for some reason, that doesn't feel so bad to move a somewhat short distance slowly. But when we were on the much faster SkyTrain, which also took us about 40 minutes to get to the edge of downtown Vancouver, this just felt like such a long time. I just don't know why it felt like this for me. Maybe it was just the psychology of knowing that we were traveling a really long distance and moving very far away from where we were staying, and then seeing just so much stuff pass below us. Yeah, I don't know. It might just be me feeling this way, but it was weird, especially since the actual time spent on transit is kind of similar. One thing I really wanted my wife to experience was Costco. I mean, it wasn't like a must-see attraction, but I thought it would be funny to experience suburban North American consumption at its peak. I unfortunately picked one of the worst days to go, Canadian Thanksgiving Sunday morning. It was really difficult to find parking, and it was one of those situations where you were either in someone's way or someone was in your way the whole time.
There were crowds of people, and it was very tiring. However, my husband made me try the poutine and hot dogs at Costco, and they were great. I had poutine before when I was in Paris, but trying it again in Canada, it was a reminder that it's very delicious and very cozy autumn meal. In general, there are good cuisines from around the world, especially from Asia. There is some of this in Lithuania, but not very much and not so authentic. And then finally, in the city center areas, there is a very visible homelessness and addiction problem. The first thing we encountered then going through the downtown east side was a man being arrested and handcuffed against a fence. I know Lithuania has some problems, but such social issues are much more visible in Vancouver.
Ultimately, we had a decent trip. Most of it was reconnecting with family and friends, while also trying to manage our infants' nap times. Now that was quite the challenge. And so to wrap it up, it was a nice trip to Canada, but it's just really nice to be back at our home in Vilnius. Thanks to my wife for sharing her first impressions of Canada, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. If you enjoy the videos on this channel and want to support my work, you can either buy me a coffee with a one-time donation, or join my Patreon with a monthly membership to get access to videos along with other perks. There's a link down in the description for you to check out. If neither works for you, just liking and commenting would be lovely. Thanks.